Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you. Do you want to win?
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
And welcome in on a Thursday night. And no, we're no longer at Zoner's Pizza tonight. We are live from the Macon Beer Company down at 345 on Oglethorpe Street. And we are glad to be down here for our first live show from Macon Beer Company. I'm Russell Deese, and this is Dave Barwick from Apparel Authority. And he's joining us tonight. We're going to have several guests in here tonight, including your phone calls at 478-550-0524. We've got a new pick'em contest this week. It's going to be Mississippi State as they travel up to the Bluegrass State to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Both of those teams are undefeated. That is our pick'em contest for this week. Last week it was LSU and Auburn. Auburn lost it on a field goal as time expired. A 42-yard field goal by the Bayou Bengals, and they crushed Auburn in Jordan-Hare by a score of 22-21. That propelled LSU from number 12 to number 7. It dropped Auburn from number 7 to number 9. We're going to talk about all the Southeastern Conference games from last week, and we'll talk about this week's upcoming games as well. But right now, from Apparel Authority, I want to welcome in Dave Barrett. Dave, welcome in. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right. So, folks that don't know a little bit about you, tell us about Apparel Authority.
I'd say at Apparel Authority, we do screen-printed T-shirts, embroidered polos, corporate uniform programs. We do everything in-house, the screen printing, the embroidery. We have a graphic artist. If you need come in and talk to us about how you want your T-shirt to look, what you need to come in and talk with us, we'd love to work with you.
Well, Dave provides he's what we call the official clothier of the DSBN Sports Broadcasting Network. He does all our hats and our T-shirts, did polo shirts for us. Yep. You guys that won the Pick'em contest, we appreciate everything.
We appreciate you.
Done for us. Now, you've been in Macon how long now?
About 20 years.
Wow.
Long time.
Time flies, right?
That's right.
20 years. I mean, it's kind of like us over at U Park 'em, you sell them.
Hey, give my age away.
Yeah, mine too. It'll be 22 years.
I'm so old, I remember when Georgia won a national championship. So,
do you still have the 8mm projector to watch it again?
I do. I do. That's all we got.
Best joke of the line at Macon Touchdown Club. We had Luns for Coach Lunsford from Georgia Southern here, and he was an assistant on the 2010 Auburn National Championship team.
Okay.
And one of our members yelled at him, said, "Coach, were you at Auburn in 2010? He said, "Yeah." And he said, "Did you get a ring?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You might want to stick around afterwards, show it to Georgia folks so they can know what one looks like."
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Hey, even the Georgia folks laughed at that one. All right, so 20 years in business.
Yep.
I mean, I see your product around with a lot of people. You do stuff with us, some of the other corporate people you do business with.
We do a lot of stuff. We do stuff with Bluebird. We do a lot of stuff with Mercer.
Macon Mayhem.
Man, we do a lot of stuff with the Mayhem. They're just a great customer, great corporate customer for us. We just love being part of the community. We love working with businesses and then trying to also help them with a Facebook post share or telling people about them. Old Mulgy Brew Pub, what a great place to have a hamburger. Any people we do business with, of course, we're going to try to spread the word and get those great products out too. So we just love being part of this community.
Well, we're glad to have you tonight down at Macon Beer Company with us.
Glad to be here.
And so let's jump into a little football. So your allegiance is to the Georgia Bulldogs.
I grew up in Ellaville, and on the Dove Field, used to listen to Herschel run and kind of got me sold on it, and I was real close to a lot of Auburn people, so that would be the opposite of who I would pull for.
Well,
your team.
You know, back in those days when the Georgia Tech game meant something, and in the Southeastern Conference, you and I are pretty close to the same age.
Yep.
I was almost grown when Herschel was at Georgia. We were about the same age. So, in fact, Herschel's a year younger than I am.
Okay.
But, you know, growing up, and I've said this for years, the Auburn-Georgia rivalry used to be a big rivalry, always was.
Right.
But it was a pretty clean rivalry. It was like fussing with your brother or sister.
Right. That's right.
I think now that Georgia Tech's been gone from the conference, I think that rivalry's intensified a lot because now, you know, Auburn always has Alabama after Georgia.
Right.
And Georgia only has Georgia Tech.
Right.
And Tech can't knock them out of the Southeastern Conference championship game.
That's a good
point.
point.
A lot of that has been pushed over to the Auburn game now.
Right.
I think with Auburn folks, we still have to. Well, we beat Georgia, but God, guess who we got next week?
That's right.
You know, we still got Alabama, but the Dogs off to a fantastic start. Now, last year, Missouri gave Georgia a little bit of a tussle in Athens.
They did.
Georgia goes up there undefeated after coming off the national championship year. They got the quarterback back at Missouri, Drew Lock, who had a good night up in Athens last week. And we'll look at some of his numbers from last year, rather. He was 15 of 25 for 253 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Jake Fromm actually played better than him. He was 18 of 26 for 326 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Obviously, the game last year, at one point, it got to be 21-14.
Right.
And then I think it was like 38-21 at the half or 34-21 at the half. Any concerns about the first road game with some new guys, newer guys on defense going up to Columbia, Missouri this weekend?
Definitely some of the secondary, and Georgia really hadn't been tested to this point. We've had a couple of soft games they played, and we'll see. We'll see. It should be good. If Fromm has a good game, I mean, the running game's going to be strong. We got some strong receivers. I think we're going to take care of business.
with the running back by committee a little bit, there's been some conversation this week about Swift not getting the ball as much for Georgia.
Right.
Do you think it's just that Holifield's playing a little better, shown better pass blocking, or is he just trying to spread the love about him? I mean, if you've got Holyfield, Swift, James Cook, Demetrius Robinson, Brian Herron, Tyler Simmons, I mean, all of those guys are averaging. Only Elijah Holyfield has over 200 yards rushing so
Right,
far.
and I think a lot of that was against one of the weaker teams. He got a ton of yards, but I mean, when you have that many backs that are good, but I know what you're saying. It's almost like they really need to get with somebody and get them in the groove and get them playing like they did Herschel. Yes,
or two.
Yeah, and just run them. But I mean, Cook is really pushing for playing time, and they're giving him some opportunities. So we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, all of those guys are over 5-6 yards a carry, except for Holyfield. He's over 9, and the one game pushed him over on that. You got to wonder with Holyfield's size, however. Is it a difference maybe in the pass protection for him? And late in the third quarter, although they haven't really been tested by a really good football team outside of South Carolina. I think Carolina's a decent football team.
An average SEC team.
Right, but Georgia did push him off the line.
Yeah.
Is Holyfield getting, maybe they're trying to get his stamina up as he get closer and into a little deeper and a little better play in the SEC because he is the bigger of the backs?
Right. I mean, I think that's the case. I really do. But like I said, the offensive line is so big. They are following Alabama's mold and Auburn to some degree with these 320, 325
they're huge.
Pound offensive linemen are huge, and they're going to push people if they're strong. And
Well, and you got the big freshman. I forgot his name now. The kid that had originally committed to Tennessee. Caleb Thomas. I'll find out during the break. But he's getting more playing time. He's going to probably get the start this week.
Right.
Anything about Drew Lock against inexperienced secondary at Georgia that concerns you a little bit about this weekend? Do you want to get in a scoring shootout with them?
It seems like sometimes that's what Georgia does anyway. But the secondary they're very athletic though. I mean, but they are being plugged into play and look at, I hate to even mention Alabama, but look how Alabama can plug in the next guy and they play just as well. And I hope Georgia's getting to that level. I don't think they're there yet.
No, they're not there yet.
But they're hopefully moving in, closing in, and
Well, the other thing that I like about what Kirby's doing, and he's doing, as you said, things very similar to what Saban is doing over at Alabama, is he is getting these young guys in these lesser opponent games, and he's getting them the minutes in the game.
Right.
And that means when somebody goes down or you're in a game where you're going to have to give your guys that are starting 7 and it's still 95 degrees down in Baton Rouge in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
You're going to have to roll that depth in and out of there, and that's, it's working for Georgia right now.
Right.
It will be interesting to see. I don't think Georgia will have a problem this weekend. I think it'll be a similar game.
Right.
I do think Missouri has the capability of maybe scoring a few more points this year than they did last year, and they put 21 up.
Right.
But I think that I don't think Missouri's there defensively yet.
Right.
And I think that's where Georgia's going to hurt them in the third and the fourth quarter.
Yep. And like I said, the athletes that Kirby's recruited are tremendous, but Auburn's got those athletes. Alabama's got them, and just to see Auburn lose such a tight game when, like we talked about earlier, Auburn's probably the better team.
Right.
Those are tough losses, and they can't lose again.
Yeah. Now you've got to finish the drill in the SEC.
Yep.
When you've got an opportunity, Auburn was up 21-13 midway through the third period. They've got to make a drive, and they've got to put you make it 28-13.
It's done.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's a done game.
That's right.
And then a lot of criticism from some Auburn people about the officiating in the game.
Right.
2 pass interferences on the last drive.
Right.
The final one was the nail in the coffin. You knew the kid was going to hit the field goal then.
Yep.
But there's been some crazy Auburn LSU games.
Yeah.
I put them akin to some of that crazy stuff that's gone on with Georgia and Vandy and Georgia and Kentucky through the years. Yeah,
and I've heard even some of the talk shows and ex-players get on and say that Kentucky is as tough physically as any team in the SEC. They're more – the offensive guys, the defensive people are more bruised and battered after a game with Kentucky because they just hitting hard and they play through the whole game.
Well, they definitely.
You see last against Florida.
Yeah, they may have the best running back in the conference in Benny Snell.
Yep.
All right, we're with Dave Barwick from Apparel Authority.
Yes,
we're going to take our first break and we'll come back and we'll talk some more SEC with Dave when we come back. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on DSBN Sports. We'll be back after this timeout.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to BillHardenMusic.com.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live at Macon Beer Company down on Oglethorpe Street. Y'all welcome to come down. We got some new beer on draft here tonight. We've got some pizza coming here in just a few minutes, and they got a cornhole tournament that's going on out back, and we're glad to be a part of it down here at Macon Beer Company. I'm with Dave Barwick from Apparel Authority, and we're talking Georgia and Missouri. We were talking about the SEC in general. Let's run down last week's scores for you. Of course, Georgia 49, Middle Tennessee 7, Kentucky 48, Murray State 10, Tennessee 24, UTEP nothing. The Vols finally get their first win of the season. Notre Dame and Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Interesting game. We just talked about Auburn trying to finish the drill. Vanderbilt had many opportunity to win that football game last week.
They have.
And they could not go in and finish the game.
Yep. Now, I know that was disappointing to those kids, too. I mean, I know they're looking for some SEC games. They're going to try to make up for that. But, man, when you got a chance to beat Notre Dame and you're Vanderbilt, you got to win that game.
Yeah, so 22-17 on the road up in South Bend. Missouri 40, Purdue 37. A very close game. Florida 48, Colorado State 10. And that was interesting because Colorado State had gone the week before and gone to Arkansas and beat them.
Yep.
The guy that was their former Georgia offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, got him a big win.
Yep.
And he went on the road down to the swamp, and it didn't turn out too well.
Crushed.
On the western side of things, Alabama 62, Ole Miss 7. I mean, Ole Miss throws a touchdown pass, first play of the game. You going, uh-oh, it's fixing to be a ball game.
Yep.
I went to dinner, came back, and it was 41-42-7.
Man, they got some firepower over there. They got great quarterback, maybe the best in the nation. Offensive line, unbelievable. They're strong. Again,
you know, the thing that as a guy that's grown up his entire life with not allowing anything crimson anywhere near me, it's scary to think of Saban and what he's got on defense and across the offensive line and at wideout And now, I mean, all the years that he's been at Alabama, 5 national championships,
right.
He's really only had a serviceable quarterback there.
Right.
Now he's got a guy that's a superstar. You're going to put him with everything else he's got.
That's right. And young.
I mean, they're all sophomores and juniors and freshmen. I mean, they look unbeatable to me. They look heads and tails above, heads and shoulders above everybody else.
Right. I agree. Maybe Saban's wife will need him to retire soon and come stay with her some, and we can all move on. But yeah, they look like a tremendous football team again this year.
Yeah, and LSU, of course, we talked about the LSU Auburn game. God, this kills me. I'm an Orgeron fan. I like the guy, but I really thought this was probably his last year, and I was looking forward to Lane Kiffin being there next year.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
But the guys believe in him, and they're playing hard for him. Mississippi State. This is another team. This is our pick'em contest this week. Mississippi State and Kentucky, 2 undefeated teams. Mississippi State rolls again, 56-10.
Yep.
The difference between them and Ole Miss can score points. We knew going into the Alabama game, they really couldn't stop anybody. Mississippi State can.
Right.
They've got a defense.
Right.
And they're a little more physical than finesse on the offensive side. They can throw the ball, they can run it, and their quarterback can do either one of it.
That's right.
You know, we really thought going into that game in Athens last year that was going to be a huge game. And then Georgia came out first play of the game, got the long play action pass for a touchdown, and that game was over.
That's right.
And Georgia dominated that game. But Mississippi State, I think, is a better football team. And the guy that's the new coach there from Penn State, I think he's the real deal because I look at what he did offensively at Penn State, and there's no question they were one of the better offenses in the country.
That's right.
LSU and Auburn once again, and Arkansas lost to North Texas.
That's crazy.
44-17.
Right.
And did you see the punt?
I did not.
Okay, so North Texas receives an Arkansas punt, and the guy's standing back there on about his 24-yard line, and he's just standing in place. The ball comes perfectly to him, and he catches it, and he just stands there.
Yep.
And 2 Arkansas guys run up to him, and they just go, "Oh, it must have been a fair catch."
Fair catch.
And they start to walk away, and the guy goes and runs. He never signaled for a fair catch.
I did see that now that you say. I do remember seeing that.
That was incredible.
Crazy.
That's they won't get away with that again the rest of the year.
So Auburn plays Arkansas this weekend. You think Arkansas is going to be mad and be ready to play them?
I don't know. The 2 biggest lines I saw this weekend were Alabama by 25 points over Texas A&M.
Right.
And I don't know if that's kudos to Alabama or a dig at Jimbo Fisher. They were only a 9-point underdog to Clemson.
I didn't know that.
And now they're a 20 or 9.5-point dog to Clemson. Now you're a 25-point underdog to Alabama.
Right.
Wow. What does that say about Clemson?
That's right.
And Auburn's about a 25-point favorite over Arkansas. Now, I'll tell you, Arkansas's been some strange games for Auburn as well through the years.
Okay.
So
you never know.
We'll see. We'll never know. All right. What else is going on at Apparel Authority we need to know about?
We got the Mercer football game coming out this weekend. The game's at 4. I think we got a couple hundred T-shirts we'll be giving out on Blackfield, Mercer and Apparel Authority shirts. So please come out and come by the tent, see us, and get you a T-shirt. We're also giving away tickets on Facebook. So like Apparel Authority and go comment on the post and try to win some tickets.
Great. Dave, thank you so much for all your help.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Dave Barrett from Apparel Authority. I had a brain lapse there. So Dave's with us, and we're going to take a timeout, and we'll come back and talk some more SEC football. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on DSBN Sports. We'll be back after this timeout.
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell.
I need to refresh my SEC knowledge before I came in here. And I told him I know a lot about. Oh, I know. He helped cover.
trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'em, You Sell 'em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55, lunch to dinner 7 days a week, featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
Is your house having a midlife crisis? Maybe it's time for a nip and tuck. Cherokee Brick has been transforming interiors and exteriors for over 100 years. Where you see a blank wall or old porch, we see potential. Add warmth and elegance to your home with an updated entryway, porch, or kitchen. At Cherokee Brick, we cut out the middleman and provide a robust selection of colors and sizes to fit your brick needs. Visit us online to find out more about where you can purchase Cherokee Brick, straight from the manufacturer.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to BillHardenMusic.com.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
And welcome back on a Thursday night as we are live at the Macon Beer Company down on Oglethorpe Street. I want to thank Dave Barwick from Apparel Authority for joining us. And I guess it's just a good old sponsor night tonight because we got a good friend from Vital Signs and Banners, Kit Andrews. Kit, what's happening, brother?
Not much, man. Proud to be here.
Staying busy down at Vital Signs?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Tell everybody about Vital Signs, a little bit about your business.
We're on Cherry Street next to the Rookery. Everybody knows where that is. We're wide open these days, do a lot of vehicles, banners, signs, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, you really literally do it. T-shirts, banners, signs, pure vehicle wraps. You had a neat project this week you were involved in. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Which one is that?
That was the one where they gave
away.
Oh,
with the governor, yeah. They had a governor's challenge award.
I mean, you got that many things going on at high level. I mean, you did something for the governor. So,
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's pretty big.
That's just like royalties.
That's pretty big. We were really honored. They asked us to design it, come up with it, and apply it, and we did
now,
the graphics.
This was for what now?
The governor's challenge includes all the law enforcement agencies in the state.
Right.
They have to qualify to come to this banquet. They then they draw from a bucket that has all the names in it. They draw 10 of them.
Right.
Well, they have a big light bar on stage, and they have 10 keys in the bucket.
Okay. Now, they were giving away what?
Well, this is a 2018 Charger, fully loaded.
Okay.
I mean, latest technology that they have.
Some of
light bars, the LEDs, sirens, everything.
What was one of the technology? It was like an ultrasound thing?
It's like there's a button on the A-pillar that is supposed to disorient your, what do they call it? Your
perpetrator.
with a series
bad
of
boy,
sounds.
Bad boy.
There you go. Series of sounds and lights and all that.
And it disorients them.
It does. It's really kind of freaky.
And then, don't tase me, bro.
Exactly.
So anyway, they're giving away this. So all the law enforcement agencies in Georgia, whether it was a county-wide or a local city, once they qualified, they came to this event.
Right.
And then they had a drawing for this 2018 Dodge Charger.
Right, and it was everybody. I mean, from military police to campus police. I mean, they had it. I mean, sheriff's, police departments, everything.
Right.
And then they put 10 of them in a bucket. Well, actually, no, they put them all in a bucket. They draw out 10.
Right.
Each one gets a key, and there's a big light bar on stage.
Right.
And they go up and turn it. And if the light bar lights up,
you won it.
It's your car.
And somebody won it.
Calhoun Police Department won it.
So as I told you yesterday, police chief's got a brand new car, baby.
Exactly.
Got a new whip up at Calhoun.
That's right. Nice one, dude. Really nice.
Okay, you're an Auburn guy. Just had a Georgia guy on. Let's talk about last weekend. Your thoughts on what happened at Jordan-Hare last Saturday?
Man. You know, like every other Auburn fan in the country, I want to scream about the Zebras, but we shouldn't have left it to that. We had the game. We just needed to put it away.
Right.
And that seems to be our Achilles heel. We get our foot on their throat and
let it off.
And then check on them. I mean, you know, it's just
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I mean, and I've talked about this with a lot of Auburn people and some LSU people even this week. And, you know, there is a segment of Auburn folks that are just infuriated. I don't think some of it I hadn't seen in a long time about the calls on the pass interference on the last drive.
Right.
But as you and I talked before we got on here tonight, you got to finish the game in the third quarter.
That's right.
You're up 21-13. You had multiple drives, and you couldn't put points on the board.
And your defense is playing great, except for that long touchdown pass we gave away.
And you can't make a mistake with 6 minutes to go in the game and allow a 71-yard touchdown pass.
No, you can't.
All right, so looking to this week, don't forget our pick'em contest this week is Mississippi State taking on Kentucky. That is our pick'em contest. Let's go over the winners and the prizes to start with. In week one, we did a double pick'em contest. It was Washington and Auburn and Notre Dame and Michigan. The Washington-Auburn winner was Linton Holloman. He won it outright. Then we had a three-way tie for Notre Dame versus Michigan. And so the following Thursday night, we had put all three names in the hat, and we drew the winner, and that was Brett Barron. So he's in for the grand prize drawing, he and Linton. Next week, it was Georgia and South Carolina. We had a two-way tie between Cole Thomason and Brian Braunstein, and their two names went in the hat, and Ben, came out on top, the winner on that, Ben Braunstein. Then last week, it was LSU and Auburn, and Robbie Burns of Macon won that. So what does all this mean? So we got the Pick'em contest this week, which is Mississippi State and Kentucky. So you either text us or Facebook us or you give us your score. We got to have the winner and the score, and you can't go over on the winner's side. If you win that week, your name goes in a hat. We go all the way through the national championship game. So every many times you win on the weekly Pick'em contest, your name goes in a hat. If you win 3 times in the season, if you win 6 times in the season, your name's going to go in a hat. Then we're going to have the grand prize drawing. Well, what are you going to win? We're going to have about 3 or 4 drawings that night. It'll be live at Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. We're going to draw, let's start the prizes off. VitaFuse, the IV hydration therapy that has a Macon office now. Oh, and by the way, we're going to do that live on the show here in the next week or two. Dr. Alan Medley's going to come up from Albany, Georgia, and we're going to show you exactly how, and God knows I need it. We might get you to help me, Dan. Me and you. I'll get 3 of us lined up. Me and you and Tom. We're going to take the needle for the team, baby.
That's right.
So we're going to do the IV hydration therapy live for you. They have a Macon office open now. You can call for appointments. It's linked on our webpage at dspnsports.com with the phone number. We encourage you to call them. I have done one in the past before. It's amazing how good it feels. And they have a whole a menu of different options you can try from. We want you to call the Macon office, set up an appointment. So at the end of the year, you're going to get a 1-year membership into VitaFuse hydration therapy, and that's vita-fuse.com, and you're going to get to go once a month and get your infusion to make yourself, it's from vitamins to specialties for women, for men, whether you're into sports or athletics or, listen, even in the business world, there's as much stress in the business world on days as there is on the athletic field. But what they're doing there is they are doing athletic teams across the state of Georgia, and now they're bringing it to the general public, and it's a great thing, and we're glad to have them in Macon and glad to have them be a part of this show. So a 1-year membership with that. What else are we going to give away? Macon Beer Company here. They're going to give away about a $300 home brew kit, and they're going to give you lessons with the beer master here at Macon Beer Company, and that's going to be a great thing. Everybody wants one of those. I want that kit. I'm not giving it. I may not draw your name that way. I may take that to the house myself. So we're going to give that away. What else have we got to give away? How about a $800 Big Green Egg from Cherokee Brick and Tile?
Nice.
So we're going to give away the large Big Green Egg from Cherokee Brick and Tile. That's a great. We gave away a big one last year, and everybody was excited about that. What else we got? How about Bill Harden Music? We've got a PV stage pack, acoustic guitar stand, guitar, automatic tuner, bags, strings, picks. We got the whole 9 yards. We're going to give away the PB acoustic guitar. That's going to be given away from our friends at Bill Harden Music. We'll move on down the road. How about a 12-gauge shotgun?
I'm sure Clay put some guns in there.
Yeah, our good friend Clay Hiller over at Pond Max. We got a 12-gauge pump shotgun we're going to give away. What else we're going to? Oh, he's going to give away another 12-gauge pump shotgun. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Nice. And we're not done yet. How about an AR-15 rifle from Paul Max Incorporated? 2 shotguns and an AR-15 rifle. We're going to give that away. Now, what else have we got? About 4 weeks ago, I had the honor of meeting Nick Chubb here in Macon. We've got a Georgia signed Nick Chubb football. But that's maybe not even the best thing, because right after that, went to South Georgia, and I've got a Herschel Walker signed football.
Nice.
And we're going to give that away. And speaking of Herschel Walker, right now, if you go to Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road at the Macon location only, that is the Macon location only, you have to carry out or dine in. You can register to win a University of Georgia signed jersey from Herschel Walker. You have to go in and do a carry out or eat it in the restaurant, and there's a slip you can register for it, and that's going to be given away on November the 10th. So all of those prizes are coming on Thursday after the national championship game. So that's a lot.
That's awesome.
That is a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir.
So far we've got Ben Braunstein, Robbie Burns, Linton Hallman, and Brett Barron have qualified for it, and we'll have a new winner this week. So what do we give away each week? Well, $25 from Kudzu Seafood. $25 from our friend Mark Coley at Texas Border Grill. Let's see, Ray Yarborough at Moe's giving away $10 worth of Moe's certificates. Another $12 combo from Freddie's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. What else we got? I got some hats and T-shirts from DSPN. We've got an extra large pizza from Zoner's Pizza. So about $80 plus whatever the hats and T-shirts.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was lucky enough to win.
You won one last year. Yeah,
so I got to get my name on that list, man. I missed the Auburn game by 4 points.
Yeah, Terry Harvin was heartbroken. He missed it by 2.
I kept saying they need to score one more time.
All right, so you given me your pick earlier today, but go over your pick. What are your thoughts on this Kentucky-Mississippi State game?
I don't know, man.
Is Mississippi State for real? I mean, everybody was undefeated in the West going into last week except for A&M.
I feel like there's a better chance, and I hate saying this, but I feel like there's a better chance that Mississippi State's for real than it is that Kentucky's for real.
Yeah, Benny Snell, best running back in the conference, so I do believe that. I mean, that kid runs hard every play, and you're not going to arm tackle him. But I'm just not convinced. I think Mississippi State, we know they can play offense. They got a great quarterback, huge offensive and defensive lines.
That's right.
Their Waterloo has been Auburn and Alabama through the years, and maybe a little LSU.
Well, they don't exactly have an easy road to hoe ever. So, I mean.
Well, no. Nobody. Well, James Franklin certainly looked like he was going to turn it around before he headed off to Penn State.
Right.
But I'm just sorry. I just think Vanderbilt's even different than you hear about Georgia Tech and, the problem with academics and we can't get those type of players that the Alabama, Georgias, and LSU. I think it's even harder at Vanderbilt than even Stanford. It's such a smaller school, a smaller student body. They still got the same number of athletes, obviously, in NCAA. I just think it's tougher to do up there.
And it's funny because they really have the uniform swagger going.
Yeah, they did that.
They're not afraid to do that.
All right, so let's go back and let's talk about this one, Texas A&M and Alabama. All right, Alabama, I talked about this with Dave Barwick when he was here from Apparel Authority a minute ago. Alabama's a 25-point favorite in that game. Clemson was only a 9.5-point favorite over Texas A&M at College Station that night.
Right.
25? Is it going to be ugly?
I think it's going to be ugly. I hate saying this, but I haven't seen anybody yet that can play with Alabama. I don't. So it's just scary.
I'll pose this question to you, Kit, like I have everybody, and I'm going to do this tonight. Everything great that Nick Saban's had, Fred, a decade now at Alabama, 10 years.
Right.
Defense, running game, secondary, linebackers, wideouts, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, running backs that they've had up there.
Right.
It should scare the hell out of you now that they've got Tua at quarterback. Because all they really had as game managers, he's not had a prolific quarterback at Alabama. A.J. McCarron might be the closest thing to an upper-level quarterback that he's had. I don't think anybody else qualifies for that. But what this kid can do now, that's got to be scary for everybody. They went and hung 62 points on Ole Miss and gave up 7. And Ole Miss coming in was throwing the football all over the field.
Right.
And immediately after the first play, which they scored the long fly pattern for the touchdown, they shut it down.
Right.
And so you've got this defense to go now with this guy quarterback and the rest of your offenses there, which has been good through the years. Are they just that much better than everybody else right now?
I think they are. And what's scary is I haven't seen the throw this kid can't make.
Yeah, that's the thing about it.
It's just like.
Yeah, he can. He can throw the long out. He can throw the waggle. He can throw the fly route.
He's got great touch. I mean, it's just
great touch. And I mean, they say when the ball comes, his hand across is like some crazy number, like 10.5 inches across.
Right.
So, and he's not that big of a guy. He's 5'11", but you got a hand now like this.
Right.
So when the ball comes out, it's like the difference between a ball coming out of a shotgun and one coming out of a 223 rifle.
Right, yeah.
So the ball's coming out. They say you can hear it whistle when it comes in the air. So I don't know. You and I are not going to heap praise on Alabama.
No.
Unless we absolutely have to. And I don't see an Achilles heel with them. It may be the secondary, but how many deep threats are they going to face? They got by Tamu at Ole Miss. I don't think they face Drew Lock. Let's see if Alabama does. Who is their crossover game? They do play Missouri, but it's in Tuscaloosa on October the 13th.
Yeah.
I mean, unless LSU is for real, Auburn figures out what they're doing. Who's the challenge left for Alabama?
I don't see one. I mean, honestly, don't.
I mean,
I hate to heap praise on them, but you know me.
I mean, here's who they got left after Texas A&M on Saturday night. And I thought that game was in College Station. It is in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Okay, so Louisiana Lafayette, name your price.
Right.
Arkansas, name your price.
Yeah.
Missouri,
no,
still name your price. Tennessee, I mean,
oh goodness.
I mean, he's going to go after Jeremy Pruitt like a bad
stole
child.
Something.
Hey, like you stole something. Just got to put you in line, son.
Exactly. Yeah.
LSU and Baton Rouge.
I don't see. I don't see it.
Now play that at 7:30, and LSU comes in there undefeated. Got to believe. And if that happens for Auburn folks, by that time we got to be pulling for Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As hard as that is.
Mississippi State in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I mean, they're.
Citadel. Are you kidding me?
That's going to up the old average.
Oh yeah, and then they finish up with Auburn.
Right.
So I don't know. As we said, we ran down the games this week. Let's see where Tua is at on the year. He is 36 of 50 for 646 yards, 72% completion ratio.
Good night.
He's averaging 13 yards an attempt, and he's got a quarterback rating of 233.3. Jalen Hurts, this is interesting too. Jalen Hurts, he's now played in 3 games. This is like Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. You get 4 games and you can keep your red.
Say one more and that's it, right?
Jalen Hurts got 1 more game to play in. Trevor Lawrence does. Now I'm not for sure that Clemson doesn't want the kid from Cartersville, Trevor Lawrence, to be the starter.
Right.
I mean, he came out and started the opening game for him.
Right.
But if you're Jalen Hurts now, what do you do?
Do you stick around?
Yeah, because if they get in a blowout this weekend against A&M, do you go to Mac Jones and save Tua? Because after this one, that's it. He can play in 1 more,
right?
Which maybe be this week, and then he's done. But then you got the same thing at Georgia with Justin Fields. He's appeared in all 3 of their games.
Right.
Are you going to ruin his whole? Are you going to not ruin it? Are you going to play him out?
Well, yeah, you're going to burn a year.
You're going to burn a year doing mop-up duty.
Right.
Now, do you want your starting quarterback, whether it's Tua at Alabama or whether it's Jake Fromm at Georgia? You don't want him to get hurt.
No.
But the third kid up is Matthew Downing. Who? But at Georgia. Right. So if I pull Jake Fromm, I'm putting Matthew Downing in. At this point, unless it's a huge game, I'm not burning it after. I may get him 4, but I'm not going to 5.
No.
But, I think the more intrigue is with Alabama and Jalen Hurts about what are they going to do in Game 5, because after this week, they got Louisiana Lafayette. You're not going to let Tua get hurt against Louisiana Lafayette late in the second or early in the third period.
It'll be way out of hand. I mean.
Yeah, well, you got some kid from Bayou LaBatry. I'm going to give me a sack, coach, and go in there and hurt your All-American quarterback,
Yeah. I'm going to make ESPN.
I'm going to make ESPN, yeah. So it'll happen. All right, what else is going on at Vital Signs? Anything else you can
just
impart to us?
Yeah, just wide open.
Tell folks how to get in touch with you.
You can reach us on the web at www.vitalsigns-ga.com or call us at 743-3378.
Good enough. VitalSignsGA.com.
VitalSigns-GA.com.
Sounds good enough. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Have a good week, and we'll take a break. When we come back,
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester. 谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose and coughing, all these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
I'm Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here, my kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week, featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
And welcome back in on a Thursday night. We are live from Macon Beer Company here at Oglethorpe Street, and the exact address is 345 Oglethorpe Street. We'd love for you to come down. We got free pizza here tonight. We're talking a lot of college football. Our pick'em contest this week is Mississippi State as they travel up to Kentucky, a battle of 3-0 football teams. I want to remind you, excuse me one second. Tomorrow night, our Zoners Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. We'll jump into single A action in the Georgia High School Association tomorrow night. We'll be live from Stratford Academy as they host the undefeated Mount DeSales Cavaliers. So Keith Hatcher of the Cavaliers will go face Mark Farabah of the Stratford Eagles. Pregame will be at 7:15. Our kickoff will be at 7:30 as the Cavaliers will put their undefeated record on the line in a crosstown rivalry game, and it's always a great atmosphere. Right now, I want to welcome into the Director of Operations and the Brewmaster here at Macon Beer Company, and that's Charles McClendon. Charles, glad to have you with us here tonight.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so fantastic beer. Tell us about Charles McClendon. Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, I started brewing professionally about 2 years ago after finishing my Master's of Brewing Science and Operations at Auburn. Before that, I spent 14 years doing student ministry in churches.
Okay.
So you could say I made quite the career leap.
Yeah, that's quite a dichotomy there.
Yeah, I tell people that the only difference between dealing with yeast and dealing with middle school boys is the fact that I can usually explain the yeast.
A little easier.
It's a little easier to figure out than a middle school boy.
Okay, so you grew up where?
I grew up in Perry. I'm originally from Perry.
Perry Panther High School?
Actually, no. I went to Westfield.
Westfield, okay.
Yeah.
Westfield right there. After that, after high school, you did your undergrad at?
I was a history major at Georgia Southwestern.
Okay.
So
that's a good friend of mine. Just graduated from there.
Okay.
Daughter.
Yeah.
In fact, dad's sitting right there, as a matter of fact. And then from there on to Auburn, I guess.
No, actually from there, that's when I spent that 14 years in student ministry of just working for churches, and developing student programs, and lived in Cochran and Eastman for a little while, and then in Byron, and then I went back to Americus and kind of finished my stint as a student pastor there, and that's where I figured out that I wasn't going to be doing student ministry much longer, and really where I fell in love with brewing was there in Americus, and it was like, and I was already thinking about going back and get my master's, like my MBA or something like that while I was in Americus, and the more I thought about it, more I thought about what I love doing and what I love to read about, and the more it became brewing.
Okay. So where did you get your start in professionally brewing?
I started with Cannon Brew Pub in downtown Columbus.
Okay.
I owe a lot to them, and I owe a lot to Southbound Brewing Company out of Savannah, so I'm always trying to give them a shout out.
Sure.
At some point in time, they were my I guess you could say they were my real start. They were where I did my internships for school. So it was quite the feat, because it was not only was it technical brewing, but it was very hands-on.
Right.
I didn't just stand back and hit a button and wait for things to happen.
Right. You got your hands dirty.
Oh, I got more than hands dirty.
Okay, so how long have you been here at Macon Beer Company now?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, Josh. We became friends because of a beer festival and some mutual friends here in town. And then, he knew I was a brewer, and he was getting into it about the time or a little after we met, and we just over the time just kind of developed a friendship, and soon after that we kind of talked seriously about brewing and a job.
Right.
And we jokingly say my first interview was over PBRs and a pool table in Grant's Lounge.
Well, which is not a bad way to do an interview, I can tell you.
I love live music.
Yeah, it's as good a place as you'll find for that.
I don't doubt that one bit.
All right, so we're in the South. People love beer. Craft beer has literally exploded across the country.
Yes.
Now, and it has been probably a little later getting down south as everything else is, but for the last decade, Sweetwater Brewing Company, and then they kind of got to be the big name. There are other microbreweries or small craft beer brewers here in Macon. We've got Piedmont and we've got Okmulgee.
Right.
Macon Beer Company is a little different than that. They're not on the restaurant side of things, which seems a lot of the microbreweries do, the smaller ones. But now that Josh Patel has taken over, I really noticed the growth in the company.
Yes.
Talk about some of the things directionally that Macon Beer Company is striving to do.
First and foremost, we want to create an experience, not just one where you drink our beer and enjoy it,
right.
but where you can come into the tap room or you can come in to wherever we are in whatever restaurant we're in, and you enjoy your time
right.
With that beer and with your family and friends or whomever you're with. And we do make those very hard to drink beers, so to speak.
Right.
We do make those big IPAs,
right.
that are 100 plus bittering units and that are 10% and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
And we want you to enjoy those too. But
yeah, and everybody's gotten into the sour beers lately, and we've got one here now.
Yeah, we have one here, the Jam Flow Man, which is sort of an interesting story, but the way that came about.
Do tell.
So several months ago, beginning of the year, Yash and I had been talking about doing a collaboration together. Right. And I was at Cannon, and this was before we ever talked about me coming to Macon. And he just asked me one night, what's weird coming down the pipe over there at Cannon, and do I want to do a collaboration? And I said, actually, I just finished a recipe today for a Goso, which is a salted beer, a sour beer with salt and coriander. Now I said I wanted to add lactose to it with just milk sugar, and then
what's the purpose of doing that? What does that do flavor-wise?
So what it really does is we didn't add enough to really make flavor do anything in that,
right.
but it gives you a bit of a mouthfeel. The best way to say that is it makes the beer a little thicker. Gosos tend to be thinner beers,
right.
So you're, even though you're drinking something that's 4.5%, it still has a medium body to it. But he responded, and I said I wanted to use Himalayan salt in it as well, and then I wanted to put
because that's vogue right now.
Well, no, I really and truly the reason I wanted to use it is because when I started looking at salts, it was more that was the one that would give me the cleanest finish.
Right. It's the purity of it.
Yeah, it wasn't sea salt, it wasn't iodized salt or volcanic salt or anything like that. It was just a very easy salt, and it would finish clean, and that's really what we were after. And I said I was going to throw mangoes and pineapples at it, and he said, "Well, how'd you come up with that?" And I said, "Well, I read about this drink called Lassi, Lassi," and he flipped out on me, and was like, "Man, I grew up drinking that stuff."
Really?
Which is just yogurt made with, it's basically yogurt, and then mango or pineapples are thrown into it. And he was like, man, parents in India are pumping their kids full of that stuff. I grew up drinking that stuff, man. I'm totally down to do that. And so that's where it was one of those things. It was sort of meant to be, for lack of a better way to say it. I finished that recipe, and then he texted me the same day, and we kind of had this connection over it. So it was it's good. I enjoy it. I've drank a lot of it here and a lot of it at Cannon. So
okay, so let's talk. We're going to talk football with you here in just a minute, but I'm intrigued by brewing, and I have been for a long time. I've never taken the plunge, but now that I have a friend that's a brewmaster, we may get that done. So. Your first home beer project was?
Oh, gosh. I think it was a red ale.
Like a Killian?
Yeah, something like a Killian's, like a red amber or red ale or something like that.
How did it turn out?
It was drinkable.
That's right.
It was drinkable.
It was drinkable.
Now, if I made it, I probably would dump it down the drain and go, oh, gosh, I'm better than that.
That was terrible. What's the number one thing you would tell a guy that's or a girl or a couple that wants to get into home brewing?
Read.
Okay.
Read.
Don't just do it. Don't watch a YouTube video and jump in.
Not necessarily. Read. There are a lot of books out there. Anything by the Brewers Association is good. I always recommend people to, and I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you like this.
No. That's what we're doing the interview for. I want to
But
myself and others watching will have an
yeah,
interest in
How to Brew by John Palmer. That was the book before I ever actually did any sort of brewing. That was the book I read,
and it paid dividends.
It did, probably more so than I realized at the time. So.
Now I know you want to sell Making Beer here, and Making Beer Company wants to sell beer, but there's got to be some pleasure in making your first batch of drinkable beer. There's got to be just kind of like a aha moment when you get that done.
Oh gosh, it's not just the first time you do that. There have been a lot of times I've written a recipe and brewed it and gone, there's no way this is going to be good.
Right.
And it turns out to be one of the best beers that you've made. It's usually like taking a test. You'd be like, man, I did awesome on that test. And then you get the test result back and you go, wow, that's bad. For me, it works the same way. If I think I've done really well on something, I probably haven't.
Right.
I guess it's the world's way and God's way of keeping me humble.
That's right. It's not really that expensive of a hobby if you want to get into it. It can be. It can be. I'm not saying when you're dumping gallons of the wrong chemical reaction down the tube, but it is a. To me, it looks like a great hobby, and it's just something. I don't know. There's something inherent about Southern guys and making beer, and we know what the history of the hills around Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama, and making something else that's distilled. But it looks like it would be something so much fun to do for people to take the time to sit down and learn how to do it and enjoy it.
Oh, the thing for me is when I'm brewing, I can't think about anything else. I have to think about what's happening in front of me.
Right.
So there are times where I'll walk into the brew house and I'll just tell the brewers to get out and be like, let me take over for a little while, because I can't think about anything. So no matter what's going on in the rest of my world, my escape ends up being that little bitty space that I'm in at that moment. It's watching the clock, it's watching the boil happen, it's making sure the hops have been measured and making sure the tank is purged with CO2 and been sanitized before we put the beer in it or before we put the wort in it, and making sure we've got enough yeast to pitch and all that. So and it's not just brewing that does that. I spend a lot of time doing research on a recipe, figuring out what grains I can use. If I'm going to use an herb, which herb will give me the flavor I'm after, that sort of thing. So it's my escape.
Right,
and
sure.
For some people, it's not an escape. For some people, it just stresses them out.
Right, sure.
So if you get into it, I would say it probably would cost you about $200, $300 to really get into it.
Okay.
There are lots of good companies out there that you can just buy kits from.
Right.
And sort of do it from that aspect.
If your recommendation to somebody that wants to be serious about it, but only wants to do it on a home level,
right?
Would you start with just a commercial kit of some kind? Would you learn that commercial kit and then maybe go to customize something on your own?
I ended up building a lot of my equipment,
right?
My homebrew equipment, just because it was fun,
right?
And I would look at something and go, oh, well, I can build that for less than what it's costing me to buy.
Sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of us do that.
And so,
wait a minute, this isn't nothing but this and this and this.
Yeah, it was just like, and I mean, I made lots of weird things. I could have supply line from a toilet up and pulled the hose out of the center of the metal braiding so that I could basically create a false bottom in my mash tun.
Right.
Instead of just going out and spending $150 to buy one.
Yeah,
spent $25.
You're like Dr. Frankenstein of the brewing process.
Oh gosh, if I whipped out my homebrew equipment and even my kegerator, I ended up building that and putting that together myself. So.
Wow. All right, so let's talk about the beers that you've got on tap right now.
Okay.
So just if you want to run down the list and give us an idea of what we're drinking there.
So
and I'm going to enjoy this Making Love while we're doing that.
Okay, well, let's start there, Making Love. Originally, Making Love was brewed for the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Right.
And people liked it so much, we just started making it all year long. It was not something we'd take off tap or anything of that nature. It is very bright red.
Right.
It's sort of it's got a little of a pepper rye
finish to it. Yeah.
So it's a little bit different in that aspect. The hops that we put in it help with that.
Without giving away a trade secret, what gives it the color?
Cherries.
Okay.
Full blown, absolutely cherries. It's not a concentrate. It is all cherries, and it is.
Well, while I'm talking about this, when we're talking about ingredients in the beers here, do you try to resource as much stuff or source locally as you can, or is that possible because of? To me, it would seem like it's very hard to do that because of the climate we're in.
Yeah, it's really difficult to do that here. There aren't people who are doing it.
Can you grow hops in Georgia?
There are people who are growing hops. When I was at Cannon, there was a
North Georgia.
No, at Columbus.
No, I mean where the hops are grown.
The hops themselves. When I was at Cannon, we actually got hops from a place called Oakhurst Farms.
Mm-hmm.
And when they harvested once a year, we would drive up there and we'd get like 40 pounds of fresh hops, and we would brew a fresh hop ale.
And they're from where are they located at?
They're West Point. Is where their address is. West Point, Georgia.
Right. So near the Alabama line.
Right.
LaGrange, Auburn, Opelika, that area. Right.
Right there. Other than that, you've got some people experimenting with them in Georgia.
Right.
But not a whole lot of people are actually growing them. I know a couple of home brewers who grow them and use them in their homebrew beer and stuff like that. But because of our climate here, it's very difficult to do that. Most of them are grown in the Northwest.
Yeah, Oregon, Washington State, Northern California.
Right, Western Idaho.
Right.
And you've got some that are growing in the Finger Lakes region now.
Right.
Of New York. But most everything is from America is northwest.
And then, of course, the German hops. The
absolutely,
reputation.
Your Hallertaus, all that sort of stuff. And
right.
You've got the stuff that England, the hop varieties that you grow in England.
Right.
New Zealand is becoming pretty big. South American hops are on the rise now. They've kind of figured out what climates do well. And then you've got some. I've even seen a couple of varieties coming out of like South Africa. And stuff like that.
All right, so we got Making Love. So
yeah.
Going back down the list, Making Out.
Making Out is just it is a rye blonde is the best way I know to describe it. It's a very
similar to
easy
a Pilsner.
Yeah, it's similar, but we have a little bit of rye in it.
Okay.
Just to kind of add a little bit of flavor to the malt. You got Making Dreams. That's a reference to Otis Redding.
Right.
And that's peaches with a little bit of apricot in it. You've got Progress. That's our flagship. That's just a straight blonde ale.
Yeah.
Or pale ale. And then you've got History. Making History.
Is that that's a newer variation?
It's our brown brown ale.
So it's more of a lager.
No, everything we brew is actually an ale.
Right, I got you.
So that is a brown ale. It's a very easy drinking brown ale. It's 6%. I mean, there's not a whole lot. It's not a heavy beer by any means. It's like I said, it's very easy to drink. We've got Progress Cubed.
Interesting. I saw that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
So Progress Cubed is we ended up dry hopping Progress. So Progress Cubed has much more of a floral aromatic aspect to it. The flavor profiles are the same. They're a little bit different as well.
And that's your highest ABV outside of Bears.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Jam Flow Man, like I said, that's the Goso that we used that we did with Cannon Brew Pub while I was there, and that was a mango pineapple Gosa with lactose. It's about. It is not a beginner sour beer. So if somebody's looking for a sour beer to try, and that is probably not the one. That's not the first one they need to try.
Gotcha.
They need to try that. I equated that not very long ago to cornbread and just how it sucks all the moisture out of your mouth. It's a very dry beer. It is a very good beer, but like I said, it's very dry. It's very tart. And we've got Mounds on tap in the tap room as well. That is our dark porter. It runs about 6%, and it is also just a very easy porter. Very easy drinking. Not at all something. It's just gonna sit. You know, there are a lot of big porters out there, and a lot of big stouts out there that just kind of sit with you.
Right.
You know, you drink one or two, and you feel full.
Yeah, you feel like somebody dropped a rock in your stomach.
Right. We realize we live in the South, and winter only happens for about two weeks.
On a good day.
Yeah.
Although I've got a prediction about that this year.
And bears. Now that's an interesting one. That's our Oktoberfest.
Right. That they did that once. Brought that out about a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was been produced again, and it's got some spices in it, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg.
Right.
And so it's also very good. And then I think the one I've left off is the Making Plays, which is just a simple. I say simple, but it was done for. The baseball team here.
Right.
And it is a very light 4.5% blonde ale with a little bit of maple syrup in it.
Okay.
So it's
not overpowering.
No,
sweet.
no, it's not. It's not overpowering sweet. It's not overpowering and with the maple syrup at all.
Right. So just a finish on it.
Yeah, it's just a finish. It's there just enough for you to go, okay, I recognize that flavor, but I cannot figure it out.
All right. So we're talking to Charles McClendon. He is the Chief Operating Operations Manager here. He's also the brewmaster here at Macon Beer Company on Oglethorpe Street, where we are live tonight. We'd love for you to come down. We got some free pizza. They're playing cornhole tournament in the back, and the beer is flowing in the tap room. So let's move forward to a little college football. You did your Masters at Auburn. Your impressions of last week's game against LSU?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch it. I was working. I was working here in the brewery. Didn't get to watch it.
Right.
But saw that last kick, and as soon as it went up, I was rather sick.
Oh no! Right.
I remember just watching. I didn't have any idea of the score. I was actually watching the replay. In the tap room on the TV, and when it went off, I was just like, "Oh my god!"
All right, if you look around the Southeastern Conference right now, I'm still convinced that Auburn's a better football team than LSU. I don't know if they'll be more fortunate this year, or they'll have a better record. But I would say right now, if you look around, it would go Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Auburn, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Maybe is what you'd have to look at right now. I don't know who the third place team is in the SEC anymore right now. Is it LSU? Is it Auburn? Is it Mississippi State or somebody we ain't even looked at yet, like A&M?
You know, I've had several people say things to me about Auburn this year, and it's usually somebody who did go to Georgia or Alabama. Just
the way it works around here, brother.
Just messing with me. You know, that's the thing I miss about Columbus is the fact that there were lots of Auburn people in Columbus being 30 miles from Auburn. You know, I'd love to say that Auburn is number one, but if we were going by strength of schedule, I would definitely say that.
Yeah, that's true.
That has been the thing. I've just thought I was like, good night. That is the toughest schedule, and not only in the SEC but maybe in the NCAA as a whole.
Couple of thoughts on games this weekend. Texas A&M going to do anything to shock Alabama in Tuscaloosa, even though they played Clemson to the wall? Probably not.
You know, I think if Texas A&M shows up like they did against Clemson, we might have a decent game on our hands. I don't think it would be a blowout.
Boy, that's a big if, ain't it?
Yeah. That's an F. That's an F.
All right, Charles. Glad to have you. Welcome to
Yes,
Macon
I
Macon
appreciate
Beer
it.
Company. Enjoy the beer. And now that we
Thank you.
know each other, I promise you I'm going to pick your brain on brewing. It's going to happen. We've been visiting with Charles McClendon, the Chief Operations and the brewmaster here at Macon Beer Company down on Oglethorpe Street. Charles, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you
No
spending
problem.
some time with us tonight.
No problem.
You're going to have a hand in one of our grand prize winner when they win the home brew kit. You get to throw in a few lessons with them.
All right.
And so that's what Yash volunteered you for, whether you
Hey.
knew it or not. We'll take a break. We'll come out and we'll finish it up here from Macon Beer Company. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on DSPN Sports. We'll be back after this timeout.
Is your house having a midlife crisis? Maybe it's time for a nip and tuck. Cherokee Brick has been transforming interiors and exteriors for over 100 years. Where you see a blank wall or old porch, we see potential. Add warmth and elegance to your home with an updated entryway, porch, or kitchen. At Cherokee Brick, we cut out the middleman and provide a robust selection of colors and sizes to fit your brick needs. Visit us online to find out more about where you can purchase Cherokee Brick, straight from the manufacturer.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to BillHardenMusic.com.
And welcome back on a Thursday night as we wrap things up from Macon Beer Company. I want to thank all our guests tonight. We want to thank David Barwick from Apparel Authority, who is here with us tonight, Kit Andrews from Vital Signs and Banners, and Charles McClendon, the operations manager here, and the brewmaster here at Macon Beer Company, Yash Patel, for his hospitality here tonight. We wish you'd come on down. Like I said, they got 10 beers on tap. Some of it's new stuff. You've had the Progress. You've had Making Love. But now they've got Out, Dreams, History, Progress Cubed, Jam and Flow Man, Mounds, Bears, and Plays. And they've really got some excellent beers. And this is a gem for Macon, Georgia, and we're glad they allowed us to be a part of it tonight. Don't forget, our Pick'em contest this week is Mississippi State and Kentucky. Congratulations to last week's winner, who was Robbie Burns. He picked the correct score in the LSU-Auburn game. His name goes into the hat for the grand prize drawing, and he'll join Linton Holloman, Ben Braunstein, and Brett Barron as our first 4 winners of the year. You've got an opportunity this weekend. Got to have your picks in by 5 o'clock on Friday now, so you can message us on Facebook or email us at gridirongab@yahoo.com. Come on down. We're still open down here at Macon Beer Company. We got some free pizza from Zoner's Pizza. Don't forget, tomorrow night, our Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. The Mountain of Sales Cavaliers travel to Stratford Academy. That game, pregame, will be at 7:15. Kickoff is 7:30. Don't forget, Monday night at the Macon Touchdown Club, Bill Curry will be our guest speaker. Dinner starts at 6:30. Find out more, go to MaconTouchdownClub.com. If you'd like to be a guest, just come by. It's $30 for guests, and Coach Curry, he's done it all. He played for Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay Packers, head coach at Georgia Tech, Alabama, Kentucky, and then finished a career at Georgia State with the Panthers, helping get that program off to a great start. Once again, Zoner's Pizza tomorrow night, 7:15, live from Stratford. The Cavaliers put their undefeated record on the line. GHSA football in the single A division, a big crosstown rivalry game. We'll see everybody tomorrow night at 7:15, live from the stadium on the Zoner's Pizza Gridiron Game of the Week. That's going to wrap it up from Macon Beer Company. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday night on Gridiron Gab. We'll see you tomorrow night at the stadium. Thank you, everybody. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.
Oh my, what a pizza pie. Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie. Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.